Hey guys, and welcome to our review of Violet Evergarden. I'm your host, the Cinder Blaze, and with me today we have...
Makotoa.
Hey, welcome back. Let's just jump right into episode 5. Also, sorry to our audience for this being so late, but we had a busy week with Toku Week.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm not going to blame it entirely on that. There's also other stuff. Let's just jump right into this episode, which I personally liked. It's one of those. It's one of the things I really like about slice of life anime. Like each episode is like self-contained in a way, like where you can have really knockout single episodes, and I feel like this was it for me.
This definitely was.
Like I really liked Princess Charlotte and like her kind of struggle. It's not the most unique, but like the way they kind of like handled it was really genuine, and it felt like really nice. Like I actually believed her a lot as a character. How'd you feel about like this episode?
I love this episode. It's probably my favorite episode so far. Especially because of kind of the hype leading into the next one with what we saw at the very end, but let's get to that later. I like how this episode, even though it's mainly focused on the princess and her kind of whole struggles and stuff like that. My English, geez. I really liked how this episode had Violet Evergarden's like progress, would you say, or development kind of subtly show through it. Like it was almost like a sort of time skip from the last episode, where it was like she's apparently been doing this for a while now and has developed even more skills, and we saw it firsthand in a subtle way from when we were reading one of the letters that she wrote for the princess, and it actually sounded like a good letter, right? Like before, it was incredibly challenging for her to write something that didn't seem super mechanical and robotic, or lack of kind of emotion in it. But she's developed so far already, and it was this kind of, it wasn't like the focus or the focal point of that moment when we discovered it, right?
Yeah.
And I love that it was a subtle kind of like indication, like, hey.
Yeah, it's nice to see like that she has developed so much from like before, because like, or also be like a really slow struggle to like figure out her emotions. However, like I feel like this was a really big swing from last episode, and like that jump was kind of like, whoa, this kind of came out of nowhere.
It kind of did, yeah. It was quite the leap.
Like, where did she get the writing skills? Like, what inspired her to be able to write like this? I mean, it has been getting better and better at each episode, but like that was on a completely different scale. Like, it was just like, you know what? Now she's a super good writer that even royalty demands her. Like, where she plays in comparison to the other two dolls, the one that isn't like the the lead one with like the long black hair,
which she was being used in this episode too, so I guess it makes sense that she couldn't be in two places at once. But
yeah, like I kind of expected it to be someone like her, or someone of like equivalent status.
Yeah,
but like what happened to the other two dolls? Like, why couldn't they write something like this? I know like it was supposed to be like Violet's kind of shtick to be able to like write and communicate love, which she did pretty well, but it was just like, wait, how, why, whatever. In that moment, it was like quickly kind of like cast aside, because we delved right into like Charlotte's problems, and I kind of forgave it in that moment.
I kind of have go ahead, continue.
Like, I was still kind of like ticked off slightly. I was like, well, that's a bit much. Also, she was kind of like robotic this entire episode, and that also got to me, but I feel like I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, like when we talk about the episode as a whole.
Mm-hmm. I have a bit of a different take on that whole situation, where that kind of vast improvement suddenly, because I think at one point, okay, this isn't the main thing, but at one point in the episode, Violet Evergarden was saying, I've studied many, many books now, and I've become very good at understanding, like, the language for it now at this point. So, but then at the same time, when she was talking to the princess kind of like girl to girl, when the princess was like, don't talk to me like I'm a princess, and I won't talk to you like you're the memory doll, we'll just talk as the people or human beings we are. And she was like telling her story of how she first met the prince, and Violet Evergarden was having a hard time even then understanding love. So what it seems to me is that it's subtly implying, okay, she can imitate what it means on paper, but she still doesn't understand it. That's the thing. That's why it was forgivable to me. That's why it was okay, because she still doesn't understand it. She's learned to see the patterns and what it looks like and how to make it sound right, but she still doesn't understand the meaning behind it.
Yeah, like when she kind of like wrote that letter, it did feel kind of textbooky.
It's still
like, just
it still had some of the mechanicalness to it.
Yeah, like she just took some lines from books she read and just like implemented that in to the letter. And now that you mentioned that, like, she actually did study all those books, I forgot about that detail.
Yeah.
But all right, I'm totally fine with
okay.
with that now. You win this.
All right.
This time.
But
go ahead.
No, I thought that it was subtle, but well, I guess, implemented that way, because no matter how good she gets, there's going to come a point in whatever episode's upcoming that, like, she is still not, something's going to be lacking, and all the work and study she's done on the subject isn't going to help. She's going to have to find out herself from personal experience or something else, like, to actually develop an understanding for what love is. So I'm looking forward to that part, at least.
Yeah. Also, we kind of got some backstory on Violet Evergarden a little bit, but like the one that kind of took me out of it the most was when she was introducing herself to the princess, and she says that she's like 14, and I was like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
And later on in that episode, when we see the prince, and like both times we see the prince, honestly, where he has that same exact like body shape, it really kind of like threw me off, like, because like all like the adult males except for that one dude who wanted to share the Chinese food with the mailman dude, like, aside from him, all the males kind of look the same. They have the same like strong build, and
like,
I
see what you
they
mean.
have like the same shape.
They
and,
have
like,
this,
their faces,
they have the same shonen shoulders.
Not like shonen, like, if you kind of think of something like Naruto and even like Dragon Ball Z.
Are you sure?
I'm going a bit too far.
By shonen shoulders?
Yeah.
They're pretty boys, man. Like,
yeah, but like it's a bit too much, especially since like they look so generic. Like when that dude kind of like stepped out, I was like, this guy looks like he's a background character. Like, what? But like this guy actually has a face, so this was actually significant.
Right.
But he still looks like a background character. Like, it's
Did
a
it
small
really
gripe.
bother you that much? Oh my goodness.
Like, I feel like they're all kind of like stylized to look super pretty, and
that's true.
It kind of made like the whole world too ideal, and I was like, I liked how real this anime could get at times, but this one I was like, oh, okay, now this is actually just an anime that's pretty for pretty's sake.
I have to agree. There's definitely that feel to it, but yeah, her being 14 was like, you do not look 14. Maybe the like princess could pass as 14.
The 14,
but, like,
the princess is 14.
Yeah, but like Violet being 14, because how old was she during the war? I mean, what, 13, 12, going around killing grown men? Like, it's already hard enough to believe in general, like, because we still don't even know if she has some kind of special powers, which I'm still holding out hope that she does, but they still haven't, like, revealed it. It almost seems like it's more she's got tactical skills, because,
not tactical skills, just, like, a ruthless, like, you know how, like, most chicks in anime are actually adept at fighting, even though it would make no sense in real life. It's like one of those situations.
I hope that it's more than just that. Yeah. Because she's a 12-year-old girl going around, like, that's going to bring me out of it. I'm still holding out hope that she's some kind of super soldier or whatever, but we'll find out eventually. And we might find out sooner than later, because it seems like the plot is actually revving up for the preview that we saw last episode. We had do you remember that guy?
Yeah, extremely villainous looking dude at the very end who was all like, I hate you, you don't deserve to be happy. And I'm just like,
yeah,
why would you just tack on the villain like that? Do
you remember him from the previous episodes, though? Do you remember who he is? He's that guy who introduced Violet Evergarden to her superior that she fell in love with. Remember at the first episode or something like that?
That's the Colonel's brother?
Is he the brother? Was he a brother? His brother? I don't remember that
like,
part.
When he came over there, like, he addressed him as his brother. And, like, he's like, you look like you look like father or something like that.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that part. But I'm pretty sure that's him. That's the guy who initially introduced him to her and, like, said that she, use her as a tool or something like that. So now he's complaining, like, oh, you killed, how could you be happy when you killed so many of my men? Like, I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, like, I don't mind that being, like, the plot point. I just didn't like how it was introduced. It happened, like, I mean, there was, like, that shock factor, is like, oh, happy ending, and then, boom, something bad happens. But, like, he was just like, I'm the villain, I hate you, you don't deserve happiness. And I was like, oh, come on, don't make it that lame.
No subtlety at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's because he doesn't view her as human, or he views her as subhuman.
No, it's not like his view of her. It's just like him acting like a normal person. Like, usually if you hate someone, you don't, like, go up and just say it to their face in front of, like, everybody. Like, that would just ostracize you and just make you look like, petty. Like, you would just kind of, like, harbor that and, like, maybe, like, show it in, like, more isolated situations. That was just a bit too much for me.
Again,
also, something that was a bit too much for me, Violet's eyes. Like, I know they're supposed to be super pretty, but, like, she's giving the death stare to, like, everybody. And it's, like, like, usually you would get, like, used to this type of stuff in anime, but for some reason, like, Violet was, like, staring right into my soul. And I was like, oh my gosh. This is uncomfortable.
I mean, maybe it's that whole, what do they call it? Uncanny Valley thing, since she's supposed to be, everyone keeps saying she looks like a doll.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't seem to have a problem with it. I think she showed some good expressions in this episode, which, I mean, it's all because of how little she does. It's almost like you're craving it, and when she finally does, it's like this moment where it's like, wow, she finally had an expression on her face, and you feel like it's like
moves her face with her hands.
Yeah, that's right, she did that. It feels like we've been rewarded after, watching the show for the past 5 episodes, that we get to see something like that. And then we realize this comes natural to most people. But
yeah.
I guess that's the whole point.
Yeah.
I did actually get kind of emotional when the princess was saying her goodbyes to her, like, maid or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that relationship was also pretty nice to see.
That moment was really nice. Like, I can't wait to watch this dubbed. A lot of whether or not the dub is good, which I honestly think it's probably going to be decent, and especially if they do it with like the English accents and stuff, because I think that's one time that like the Japanese subs don't like the thing they can't do is get the accents, because we can't, it's Japanese, it's not in a form of English. So for certain shows that have like maybe more British type characters, that's when a dub can really shine in a place that the subs can't. So I especially look forward to that whenever this does get dubbed by Netflix, and then showing it to people I know who are only interested in watching shows if they don't have to read the subtitles. So it's for at the very least that much, and
Yeah.
they're not as picky as us. So the voices aren't going to bother them, even if they're not that great.
All right. Well, do we have any final thoughts for this episode?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and catch us next week, where we'll hopefully put this episode out on time. Oh, also, check the description out for our social media links and our Discord chat. That's also great. See you next week.
Later.